Hello, welcome to Tom's Hardware the Piecast for the 1st of October. And we've got, guest, part-time presenter, guru back on the show. What do you want to be, Paul? Do you want to be presenter or a guest?
Oh, guest and always, yeah. I don't want the
Guest?
obligation. Already too much to do.
Too much work.
Yeah.
You might be thinking, why have we got Pimoroni back on the show? They're only on a few weeks ago. Well, simple reason is they've got more cool toys to play with, and Paul's got them with him right now. We're going to talk about them. We're going to go straight into it, and it's lovely. It's the Pimoroni Pico Plus 2W. Now, you're probably all thinking, that's just a Pico Plus, isn't it? Come on. That's boring. It's just another Pico. But it's not. If you look to the right of that image, you'll see a green chip. It looks like an ESP32 package, but it's not. It's an RM2. And it's got Raspberry Pi plastered all over it. It's some sort of Raspberry Pi wireless chip. So Paul, why is Pimoroni making Raspberry Pi wireless boards before Raspberry Pi?
I think it's one of those things where, like with the original RP2040, we got early access, and we're generally, on our good days, pretty quick about these things. So we had stuff ready to go, and I think we're very good at being stalking horse for these kind of things and releasing boards and getting MicroPython up and running. So yeah, we released it. And so far, Eben hasn't deployed orbital lasers on us, so I think we're okay.
I think you're safer now. I mean, looking at the board as well, this is the larger package, RP2350, so 2350B. So what's the key differences between this chip and something I'll find on a standard Pico 2?
It's more pins, really.
Yeah.
And adds a few more analogs on there and a few more GPIO.
Awesome. And you've basically given us the full fat version of the chip here, haven't you? You've given us, was it 16 meg of QSPI?
Oh, we've got PSRAM, we've got the 16 megabyte flash on there. It's really, I think the only thing we're missing now, which I might do on the LiPo version, is to add the rest of the pins. Because at the moment to do that, we would have to break the Pico form factor.
Okay. Yeah, so 2350s. Yeah, and the B's got a lot more P's. Yeah, B's got a lot more pins to it. I remember writing an article on that a few weeks back. And it's surprising the difference. We just, it's not that much bigger for a piece of the die's not much bigger, really, is it?
Well, it's as with a lot of these things, a lot of it's wasted space anyway. It's packaging. The actual die itself is fairly tiny.
Cool. And you've also got a couple of extra things on there as well. We've got the Quest connection, so STEMMA QT, Quick, MakerPort, whatever you want to call it. And you've got the
SWD. 1,000 names, but just about everyone's using it now. Arduino joined the party as well, so.
Yeah. No, spoiler alert here. Let me just go back to OBS so I can show my face, even though it's not that pretty. There you go. That's on my review queue, which uses pretty much STEMMA QT connections.
Yeah.
So that's the Arduino plug and make kit.
Yeah.
That's using UR4 board. Nice little board. I reviewed them last year, I think it was. Nice boards. Anyway,
good
back
color.
to more. Yeah. Back to more boards. Well, we've got your board now. So we've got a boot button, reset button. Reset button is always welcome on a board. I mean, Captain Resetti has been there before.
Yep.
But it's always nice to have
a single color LED.
Yeah, and in the same pin out as the Pico W, if memory serves.
Yeah. Try and keep as close as possible.
That's it. So the pin out on the Pico Plus 2W is the same as a standard Pico 2?
Yeah, if I recall correctly. It's been a long day. But yeah, the pin numbers are there. They match up. It's meant to be, compliant and standard, so people don't get nasty surprises, really.
No, very true. So I've yet to solder mine up yet. I'm taking photographs of it. When my microscope works, I'm trying to get some close-ups of the chip, but the microscope decided not to work this evening, so I've had to go to this backup plan.
Yeah. Are you short-sighted, long-sighted?
I am short-sighted.
So you just take your glasses off and use that as your soldering zoom mode.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, question in the chat. So Micah asks, have you been able to use deep sleep successfully?
We haven't even tried it yet for the release stuff. So the main reason for that is we were kind of MicroPython first oriented, and until MicroPython supports the sleep modes, not a lot we can do with that really.
Talking of which, there's Gadgetoid. Our Phil's in the chat.
Yeah.
Phil. And I know you've got MicroPython working on this, 'cause I've been messing around with it, and your version of MicroPython is ahead of official MicroPython, so to speak, right now.
Yeah. So when the RP2350 came out, it was rare that we had MicroPython running on the day, really, because normally it's a week or two afterwards. So Phil was very much ahead of the curve and pushing things forward to get it there. And here he's just kind of kept on going, really, and poking people and trying to make things like PPP work and Wi-Fi with arbitrary pins work.
Cool. Yeah, I need to tell Phil. Phil, requests and micro requests didn't work for me when I tried to use JSON or just standard HTTP codes. It just went, there's nothing there, mate, when I tried it earlier on today. So there's your bug request.
Okay, make work.
That's it. He's going to
Things
kill
that
me for that.
we're rewriting a lot of the wireless examples to work on this, or just to make sure they do work. And one of the ones we're using, I think, is your astronaut script.
Yeah, thank you. That's what
Yeah.
I tested it with, and it came back with it because it runs JSON. It comes back. I went, I can't find anything. Sorry. It connected fine. In fact, I can show you. If I just, sorry, Russell, I'm just going to drop your question for a second and go to the capture. This is live. This is Fonny running on my machine right now. So this is Cursor, the live demo. Standard script. It's network, get me online. I've got my secrets and my passwords are saved in a separate file so you can't see them. And all it does is connect up, wait 5 seconds, and then print the current connection status and the interface config. And you can see in the bottom of the screen, it's saying that I'm connected with MicroPython, spicy Wi-Fi for the Pico Plus 2, RP2350 wireless, and it's the version that's got everything to run with PS RAM as well, so I can access all of that.
Yep.
And let's run it and see what happens. So I've got to hold up the board so I get a good Wi-Fi connection because I'm quite a way away from the router. There we go. So you can see true means connected. Network config, there's my IP address, subnet mask,
Yeah.
gateway,
It's
that
all
sort of thing.
working.
All working. So this, this little Pico 2W is on the internet.
Great.
And when we get
But it can't
requests
fetch stuff
working,
from the internet. But that's
yeah,
a software problem, right?
yeah, that's it. So when that's fixed, I'll be able to do all sorts. So that little demo I wrote for the ISS to get the current astronauts, I'll be able to see who's on there. I think there's 2 more on now because there's another ship down.
Exactly. Really good time to run your testing because the figure's higher than normal. It's a peak figure. So if you've been running your unit tests, assuming there's only ever going to be 4 astronauts in space, now you can see if it breaks.
Cool.
And that famously led to the downfall of Jurassic Park.
So with the Pico Plus 2W, I get Wi-Fi, obviously. I get the power of the new RP2350.
Yep.
I'm just trying to think now what would be the use cases for this board? Because you've got quite a lot of power in this board and you've got Wi-Fi. Do you need all that power to do Wi-Fi stuff? Could you just not have made a cheaper one with less, less RAM, less storage, and just the Wi-Fi smarts?
Yeah, you could do, yeah. Not a lot of reason to. I'm sure the Pico W will be along at a great price. So we can, we're making stuff in the UK. We can never be the cheapest.
Yeah.
So try and be the best. Have the shiniest stuff.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I mean, the price for it was it £16.80?
Yeah.
Something like that. So it's approximately $18 if memory serves for the conversion I did, which isn't a bad price for a microcontroller with all this RAM and all this storage.
It makes it seem less. Given there's so much fighting on AliExpress at the low end, it makes it fully featuring it like that and making sure it's supported by MicroPython makes it seem less, you know, makes it seem more worth it. They're the words I'm looking for.
I know what you mean. Yeah, value for
Yeah.
money. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
The
Russell,
one
that's your
board you need.
question.
Yeah.
Russell's asking if there's going to be a Badger or Tufty based on the Pico Plus 2W.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We're working through those. They're now very much possible. There are a few boards coming first. We're going to have the Tiny FX in wireless format. That'll be a RP2040 with the RM2. I've actually got a RM2 breakout there. So anything with that Spice connector can use that to attach a radio. And yeah, eventually there will be the Badger and the Tufty, which are going to have the same form factor this time, but different screens, which unlocks exciting possibilities.
Oh, definitely. And a comment from Tim. He says, good evening to us both. Evening, Tim. Tim's got his Pico Plus 2W and the AI camera. Have fun with that. That is a nice piece of kit. Very
Thank you if
easy
you
to
managed
use
to
as well.
score one early. That's very lucky.
Yeah. It's amazing what you can do. I mean, it's the Sony IMX 500 that's doing all the smarts on there. And it's amazing what you can get. I mean, 30 frames per second at 640 by 640, I think it is, which is absolutely plenty. Really,
For
really
inference
nice.
stuff, yeah. You can do quite a lot
Yeah.
with that, right?
Yeah. And you managed to capture me doing my thriller poses the other day, which weren't the best dance moves ever.
Right. Did it just like 50% chance of Michael Jackson?
I think there's more chance of 50% of banana. So I did have
Yeah.
banana for scale just in short.
Banana zombie.
That's it. Russell's back again. Asking just a general question now. Any ECA for USB Max and Power Max boards from the Pi K Max as separate items?
Should be a few weeks yet. We're just getting the ducks in a row for releasing Pi Max in its final format, which we think, touch wood, we're on course for now. We've ironed it out, improved it, and just generally owned it based on the beta feedback. And we're starting to cut panels now and just gear up for the first batch.
Awesome.
And then from that, we'll release the board separately.
So that's why I don't move your camera when you're talking. There you go. Now, those little USB boards inside there and the audio board, power boards, fantastic. I can see them being used in a lot of arcade builds because what you can get now, I know it was slightly going away from the Pico stuff at the minute, but what you can get now from AliExpress, TeamU, wherever you get your arcade bits from, they're generally not the best quality because they're built down to a price point. So you want something that's got a bit of quality, and your boards have.
Yeah, all RP2040 as well.
Yep.
Yep. But we separate the functions, which means you need a couple of USB ports at least. But it means they work with PC, Raspberry Pi, whatever really. They just show up as USB standard devices.
Yeah, very easy to work with. And there seems to be a massive trend at the minute for getting an RP2040 and creating retro gaming equipment with it. I mean, we've got Pico Gus, so the Gravis Ultrasound. We've got Apple II graphics cards. I've seen recently what's it called now? I can't remember the name of the board, but it emulates the Commodore 64 SID chip with an RP2040. Yep. And if you're a Commodore enthusiast like me, you know how expensive SID chips are. Those are the sound chips on a Commodore, and they are dying out left, right, and center. So you can buy ARM SIDs, Swim SIDs.
Yeah.
But this one now just knocks the price down from £50 or £60 all the way down to £10-15. Like that's no-brainer territory.
Just a lovely little chip, the RP2040. Use it everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. Do you reckon you'd be moving any more products to RP2350?
Gradually, most stuff. There's very few things that will stay RP2040. I think we have some use cases where stuff doesn't need more power, so we'll keep using RP2040. I think some LED matrix drivers where they're a known quantity, the TinyFX, where we needed the small footprint, and it's running a couple of LEDs, so something more powerful would have been overkill, really.
Yeah, I get you. I get you.
Yeah. But I
Right.
think as people start using the power stuff and just generally bedding in with the 2350, that'll get used most places. It feels like sacrilege not to use all the power in it, but yeah, people are getting used to it with the 2040. It's okay not to use everything.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Between the 2040 and the 2350, is there like a big price difference, per chip?
Not as much as I'd like, really. Yeah, I think they're both good value in their own separate ways. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
There's
Well,
enough of a difference that there are cases where you would choose the RP 2040, especially with the supporting circuitry being a little bit more forgiving and a
yeah,
little less particular.
yeah. Are you having to design around the issue that's been happening recently with the pins that don't? What's it word now? You set the voltage of a pin, it sort of goes
The
high and
pull
stays high.
downs,
That's it. Thank you.
errata E9. Yeah. We already did it. We had to swap a resistor array from 10K down to 4.7K.
Okay,
Yeah.
and that
But
got around the
generally
problem then.
it was kind of so marginal that we didn't even realize it was there. We missed it when it was staring us in the face early on, because
Cool.
it's, the way we run anyway. I think we saw it in our user switches, and we just changed the value of the resistor and fixed it and moved on, because we are generally solution oriented.
Oh, appreciate
So
that.
so far, no biggie really, but be nice when there's a B naught stepping, but I think it'll be a ways off. In the
Yeah,
meantime, plenty of stuff we can do as things are. Not really kind of stopping us doing anything day to day or
yeah,
requiring big workarounds.
cool. Well, being solution orientated, you've solved a problem that some of us have had, and one of them's been me. 4G connectivity with microcontrollers. So I've got
Yeah.
an Arduino that can go on a 2G or 3G network, and I've got a MicroPython board from EMF Camp from about five. Oh, hang on, no, this is 2018, so it's a long time ago now. That had built-in GSM connectivity. It was a phone you could send a text message as well through MicroPython. But you've got
Yep.
something a bit special. You've got Clipper, so I'm going to switch over to here.
Yeah.
So, what is Clipper?
Clipper is a 4G LTE data module. And we have two things. We have one that's released now, and we have a hat that's coming out soon, a mini
Oh, a
hat.
hat.
Yeah, same thing, hat
Yeah.
format, couple more connections.
Yeah.
And I've got one right on the other camera. I don't know if you've got that. If
I'll
not,
just
I'll just hold
bring
it
it
up
up
here.
now. There you go.
There we go. Oh, there we go. There's the mini hat.
Nice.
Couple of buttons, right angle antenna, more status LEDs, and the speaker and microphone connections if you want to treat it a bit more phone-like. And on the back is the SIM card slot, the module, Quest, and all the supporting circuits. That'll be coming fairly soon as well to complement the module, which we have right here. And they're both, they're just
Cool.
this nice budget SIMCOM module,
Yeah.
which getting a 4G LTE under 20 quid is magic.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean,
And we're chucking in a free SIM as well.
so the free SIM, how much data do you get? How long does it last for?
So you get 100 megabytes thrown in,
Yeah.
and we say you should use it within 6 months. Actually, you get a little bit longer at the moment because of the age of the SIM cards. And we're doing at the moment very simple 100 megabyte top ups when you need more data.
Yeah.
But there's no monthly fees or anything like that. It's just data. Use it very slowly and don't stress about it really. And we will have more top up options soon. But for now, we're just seeing how it goes in the first launch weeks of
Yeah.
Clipper.
Very cool. So how do I
Yeah.
access a 4G network from this? I mean, I'm guessing it's MicroPython.
We have a MicroPython build. You talk to the module using PPP,
Yeah.
and there is PPP built into the full Raspberry Pi OS. Otherwise, Phil has kind of forged ahead and done some very beta builds of MicroPython that enable the RM2 Wi-Fi and the PPP module for LTE.
Cool.
Yeah,
And
so very simple. It hides away a lot of the AT commands, so you can just treat it like a connection. You can treat it like any other internet.
that's useful. So I always mess up the AT commands no matter what.
You
So
see them burble by in the console at the moment.
I remember using the EMF camp badge from 2018. It's in a drawer down there. I can't get access to it at the minute. And that had abstraction in MicroPython to access, APNs, that sort of thing, set up your SIM card, and it was relatively
Yep.
easy to do. So if it's
Yeah.
as easy as that, I
Same
mean,
stuff.
I'm guessing it's going to be. It's going to be fantastic because you can then get your Pico 2, your Pico, whatever you want to connect to it, online and serving
Yep.
data. So simple data. I mean, 100 megs not a lot, but for the citizen science projects, it's plenty.
Yeah. The thing is, though, it's not SIM-locked or anything. This is very Pimoroni. So if you want to use a normal cellular SIM from, say, Vodafone, EE, that'll work as well.
Yeah.
Got one of my SIMs in here, worked just fine. And generally, the APN stuff seems to be ignored a lot these days on most mobile networks. So we found out even if you don't fill it in with the right APN, it still just works.
No, so yeah, Phil just mentioned about MicroPython had a PPP feature added at coincidentally exactly the right time. That was handy.
Yeah. He just walked around behind the MicroPython team just saying, "Gives a PPP, gives a PPP." Yeah. And
So
then kind
you,
of poked it until it worked.
so you say it's not locked down, so you can use any SIM. So is that worldwide? You could use any SIM?
Yeah, as long as it works. There will be certain 4G bands that work. I think we specify it on the product page, just in case you are in a part of the world that doesn't do that.
Yeah.
I think you'll notice as well that the 4G modules have only a CE mark on there,
Yeah.
suspiciously missing a FCC. So you can use them in North America, as far as I'm aware. I'm sure if we send Russell one, he'll tell us for sure. But we can't sell it direct there, or it can't be distributed there. I think due to patent problems
No,
or patent
understood.
disputes. Yeah, but the SIM itself, the one we got from once, works in 150 countries, more than 150 countries. And
Brilliant.
wherever you got 4G LTE on a whole raft of bands, the SIM card module will work fine.
Cool. So the board on its own is about £19.50. I say about. I'm looking at the screen now, so yes, it is £19.50.
Yeah.
Again, probably about $22, $24, something like that. Starter kit's £24, so about $28. The
Yeah.
starter kit, you get the SIM card, and you get, is it one or two aerials?
And you get one antenna, the medium sized one, and you get the spice cable basically. Everything
That's
you
it.
need to polish it off if you don't happen to have a drawer full of 1800 megahertz antennas.
No, very true. And if you haven't got the spice connection, which is the connection at the top of the board, the white connection, you've got a pin out on the bottom right hand side that you can use to break out and
Yep.
get going.
Same pins. I think it might have one more pin or two more pins. But yeah, same stuff. If you want to go old school or connect it to a Pi or something, that's an easy way to do it. Although we do have the spice to DuPont on the shop.
Nice.
So that's another way you can do it as well. And again, that's really doing for SPI and the like what we did for, or what Quick and Stemmer QT did for I2C.
Very cool.
Yeah. So we're expecting to have a few radios on there, but there's other stuff it could be used for. So at the moment, cellular, RM2 on Spice coming. And then
That'd be
I think it's
interesting.
possible we'll do kind of the RFM 95 LoRa module on there as well. We think that should work fine. There's enough pins.
Cool.
You can kind of choose your own radio.
that'd be interesting because radio is one of the areas that I've never dealt with properly. Just to, I've connected with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, messed around, but when it comes to LoRa, I've done a little bit and I don't really understand it. So that's interesting.
Yeah, just another radio in it.
Yeah,
Slow,
true. Yeah,
meshy or not meshy.
yeah,
I think check out what Andreas Place does. He's very good at explaining LoRa and does a lot of stuff with it.
will do. I'll have a look at his videos.
Yeah.
So
Like,
what else
I
have you
with
got?
this fierce accent.
That's it. I know him. What else have you got for us, then, Paul? What other toys you got?
Okay, so here I've got kind of all the boards that have a Spice connector at the moment.
Right, yeah,
So
I'll just
there is
solo you so
the
you can see it.
yeah, we've got
There you
the
go.
display Pico Display 2.8.
Nice.
That's got Spice. You've got the you've got the Pimoroni Pico Plus non-W that has the Spice
Yep.
connection. The W one doesn't because the pins for that are being used by the RM2 module. And then you've got the
Ah,
Plasma 2350, which is the one I'm currently developing on. Sorry, developing on. It's got the stubby antenna right there. So
oh,
yeah.
cool.
And then I'm trying to find a source of random colours from the internet. Now that Cheerlights has been have trouble with Twitter X because they killed all the bots, which meant all the good
Yeah,
bots got killed as well.
they
It's
are
very
on
sad.
Mastodon. I know that.
Yeah. Can we do that programmatically? We should totally do that.
Yeah, there's there are bots on Mastodon, and you can programmatically. There's an API, so yeah, you should be able
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. Should make that popular again because Cheerlights is just programming gold, isn't it? Educational
Yes.
gold. Yeah.
Simon Walters is Mr. Cheerlights. It's good old simple
Yeah.
Si.
Yay. There's the blast from the past.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we've got a little preview here of a few boards. That one's not a preview. That is the multi-sensor stick.
Oh, cool.
So the thing is, when we're doing breakouts, just the whole thing of making a breakout, of putting it through the line and developing it, means it pushes the cost up when you do 3 individual sensors. So what we did was chucked in kind of 3 of the most popular and useful sensors that people use and put them on this stick with Quest connectors each end, and did it
Useful.
for I think about £18, and you get something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 functions on there at least. Oh, you
Wow.
get some gestures as well. So that's a lot of sensors for the price, and very
Yeah.
mountable and hackable. A couple of things that are coming soon is this PIR sensor.
That's tiny.
Yeah. So your big white domed PIR sensors. This
Yeah.
is one with a small, sleek black dome.
Is it still
And
the
it's good for,
BIS 001 sensor? Or is it something else?
I forget. You can probably look at it if you take off the cap there, because there is the raw sensor.
Oh, wow.
Looks about right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But that's going to be a 3-pin connector, so it can connect to the TinyFX, since it is kind of power and a trigger with a
Ah.
variable pot on there.
Yeah, so
And
if anyone doesn't
then,
know, TinyFX is the lighting kit, isn't it? You can get like
yeah, the
a
Lego
lighting
lighting
effects
kit.
controller.
If you want smart Lego lights, TinyFX is all about it.
That's very cool.
And we'll have the RM2 version of that soon. And then Chris has been working on a little Quest Quick Stimmer QT controller, game controller.
Nice.
So you can do I2C, button control of things like tiny robots and the like. So that's going to be the Quest pad.
Nice. I can see that being connected to a Pico and then to some sort of wireless like RM2 and being used
Yeah.
for robot controllers.
Yep. And you've got 2 Quest ports, so you can daisy chain them, choose the addresses on the back, and have lots of them hooked up for. Let's just look at the side of it. So wee.
We need a banana for scale, I'm afraid.
Rather than my big lumping hands. Yeah. So there's some stuff that's up and coming. Our release list, as you notice, we've been releasing quite a few boards recently, and we've still got a lot to come as well. So it's a good time at the moment. Yeah, picking up steam again
Yeah,
after a
definitely.
relatively quiet energy crisis.
Yeah. We've got
Yeah.
some questions from the audience. Let's see. So Tim's asking, it's going back to the SIM cards.
Mhm.
Nope, that's the wrong one. Where are you, Tim? There we go. What sort of cost is the data SIM?
So at the moment, you get it free when you purchase a Clipper module.
Mhm.
It's, I think, including VAT, it's something like £4.50 for 100 megabytes. But that's buy it when you need it.
Okay. Not too bad. There we go. And next
Yeah.
question is from Deshipu. I probably murdered your name. Sorry about that. Are those the mushy silicon buttons in the controller?
No, these are. I don't
Bit like
know. They don't
sponge.
feel like silicon. They are a bit mushy, but we found ones that are even more mushy because
Yeah.
the ones we originally got weren't mushy enough. So we found mushier ones
Is
that
it
are
like
nicer to
the
hold.
silver domed is it convex button you have? So you have a plastic button that hits a convex shell and pushes it into the PCB.
It might be internally, but no, they're single units. They are basically tack switches that just
Oh
have a
yeah.
springy feel to them, and they are just the right. We found ones that are the right kind of feel to them.
Yeah. So you
So
want
they're
feedback.
yeah, and they hit quite early before you bottom out. So we found that they are good in certain circumstances,
Very cool.
and it's good for this because they have a certain presence. But again, the original ones that we got were hard to press. They had too much actuation force. So we hunted around and found these ones that had less actuation force, and that's a much better feel.
Yeah. No, I appreciate
Yeah.
that. It looks like Tim has made a purchase as well.
Yay!
Sorry about that, Tim. Raiding your wallet. Well, that's it. That's all the toys done for now. I say for now because you'll probably bring out something next week and could have you back on the show or something. But
Yeah, but
knowing you,
we never have secret things that we don't show people. We would never do that.
never. I mean, I'd never click the solo button now, so it makes you full screen so everyone can see it clearly.
No, this is something for a supercon for a workshop. So yeah, we'll see
Oh,
how that
look,
goes.
it's a little balancing robot, something like that.
Not even balancing; it does balancing very badly. But yeah, it is basically a bare minimum robot with 2350 on it.
Oh, cool.
So we're hoping that we can get the whole kit there as minimal as possible for like 25 quid,
Yeah.
which for a robot with the microcontroller on is very hard for the Megaverse, apparently.
Yeah, I managed to do it for 10 quid, but I had to have a lot of caveats. It was an AT Tiny 85, a cardboard chassis, hot glue,
Yep.
lots of hot glue, and
Yeah.
some very cheap motors.
And you don't have to have a distribution network.
No, exactly. I just stuck it on a web page, gave everyone an AliExpress link and said, go for it. But
Yeah.
that was
Parts wise.
before the pandemic. It was before prices went up. So I'm
Yeah.
guessing now it'd be if I did it again now, probably I'd probably say nearer 20 quid, I reckon.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
little servo robot, 2350, lots of connectors, and yeah, cable ties for stabilization and putting it all together.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
completely correct there. Hot glue is the industry standard in robotics. Yeah. And I found out
Yeah.
recently if you want to get hot glue off an object without heating it up or prizing it off, isopropyl alcohol. Just put a little on and it loosens the glue.
Cool.
So,
Solvents.
yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Although I think we're moving over to UV resin now a lot, aren't we? It's got myself a set of it in
I'm
various
not dabbled
colours.
with that. I've got some
It's
old-fashioned resin, epoxy resin, but I haven't got UV resin. I've got some UV
UV resin.
glue, but that's
Yeah, same stuff really.
just more of it.
Yeah. But no, it's getting used to over super glue sometimes now for repair because it tends to be a bit more reliable. You can cure it fairly instantly, can't you? And it's very hard stuff.
True, yeah. Yeah, it
Yeah.
cures in about 60 seconds, doesn't it, really?
Yeah. depending on how much of a UV torch you've got your hands on.
About 5 minutes for me then, because I've got a cheap one from Amazon.
Yeah.
Well, it has been lovely to talk about solvents, UV, resin, and obviously Pimoroni's new toys. So thank you for coming on the show once
No
again.
worries.
We're not going to be back next week. Next week, it's Amazon Prime week, so it's going to be really busy. I say weeks, it's quite a busy week for us. So we're going to be back the week after. So I will see you then. Well, thank you all for watching. See you later.
Fantastic. Cheers, man.